The world once again woke up to the grim echoes of war in Eastern Europe when reports confirmed that Russia had launched an unprecedented overnight assault with 115 drones directed at multiple Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure points. This attack, which unfolded under the cover of darkness, sent shockwaves not only through Ukraine but across the global community, highlighting the growing reliance on drones as the centerpiece of modern warfare. The scale of this particular operation was unlike anything seen in months, and it has quickly become a topic of intense analysis among military experts, policymakers, and ordinary citizens watching this war with anxiety and concern. The exterior of this event is easy to understand at first glance: a massive swarm of drones filling the night skies. Ukraine's air defense sirens blared through residential neighborhoods, forcing people to run for cover while searchlights and anti-air weapons traced arcs across the heavens. For those on the ground, the sky must have appeared alive with buzzing machines, each carrying the potential for destruction. The spectacle of such an attack is as much psychological as it is physical, designed to project power, to overwhelm defenders, and to leave civilians in constant fear of the next wave. The image projected to the world is that of Russia doubling down on its drone warfare strategy, showing that it can deploy not just a handful but over 100 unmanned systems in one coordinated strike. Inside the picture, however, lies a different story. The interior of this attack reveals Ukraine's defensive systems working overtime. Reports suggest that Ukrainian forces managed to intercept and shoot down a significant majority of the incoming drones. Yet the effort required was enormous. Air defense units, supplied by Western allies, scrambled to identify targets, prioritize threats, and deploy missiles or anti-aircraft guns to take them down before they reached vital infrastructure. The defenders were not just machines but also men and women working through the night, exhausted but determined to prevent as much damage as possible. In this way, the interior layer of the story is not just about the drones themselves, but about the resilience of Ukraine's defenders, the coordination of its air defense network, and the strain placed on a nation that has been under constant bombardment for more than a year and a half. The performance of the drones used in the attack has also been under scrutiny. Many of these were believed to be Iranian-made Shahed-136 and Shahed-131 models, which Russia has been using extensively since the latter part of 2022. These drones are not sophisticated compared to advanced Western systems, but their performance lies in their endurance and the simple effectiveness of mass deployment. Flying at relatively low altitudes, often in unpredictable paths, they are difficult for radar systems to detect early. Each drone carries an explosive warhead capable of damaging or destroying infrastructure such as power stations, fuel depots, warehouses, or even residential buildings if they are not intercepted. Their performance in large numbers makes them more dangerous than if they were deployed individually, because air defense systems can become saturated and overwhelmed. In this sense, the performance of the drone swarm is measured not by how advanced each unit is, but by how well they function as a collective weapon. When analyzing safety features, the stark reality emerges that these drones are designed with destruction, not safety, in mind. They are essentially flying bombs, with little to no regard for minimizing collateral damage. Their low speed compared to missiles allows for interception, but it also means that they can loiter and maneuver toward targets with relative persistence. The only real safety mechanisms in this scenario are those belonging to Ukraine's air defense systems, many of which are supplied by Western nations. Systems like the American Patriot batteries, German Gepard anti-aircraft guns, and mobile missile units play the crucial role of ensuring safety for millions of Ukrainians by intercepting the incoming threats. The drones themselves offer no safeguard for civilians. They are tools of terror designed to exploit vulnerabilities. Safety, therefore, is not inherent in the technology but in the ability of defenders to respond quickly and effectively. Looking deeper into what might be called the unique selling points of this Russian strategy, one can see that it lies in the affordability and sustainability of drone warfare. Missiles are expensive to manufacture and replace, but drones like the Shahed models are relatively cheap, costing anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 apiece. This allows Russia to deploy them in overwhelming numbers, creating what military analysts describe as a war of attrition in the skies. Instead of firing a few expensive missiles, Russia can flood the airspace with dozens, even over 100 drones, forcing Ukraine to expend its much more expensive interceptor missiles. This asymmetry is a strategic advantage that Russia seeks to exploit. Furthermore, the psychological effect of drones buzzing over cities, night after night, cannot be overstated. They create a sense of unending danger, a constant reminder to civilians that nowhere is entirely safe. In a war where morale is as important as territory, this is a powerful weapon. The price imbalance between offense and defense is particularly significant. For Russia, launching 115 drones at relatively low cost represents an investment that is manageable, especially when compared to the cost for Ukraine to defend itself. For Ukraine, intercepting these drones often requires the use of missiles costing hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars each. This economic disparity is unsustainable in the long term and highlights the strategic value for Russia in pursuing this approach. It is a war not just of soldiers and weapons but of budgets and supply chains, and drones have tipped the scales in favor of the attacker when it comes to cost effectiveness. The conclusion one might draw from this episode is that drone warfare has now become central to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. This overnight assault is not an isolated incident but part of a broader strategy that relies on persistence, volume, and psychological impact. For Ukraine, the ability to intercept most of the incoming drones is a testament to its defensive capabilities and the effectiveness of Western-supplied systems. However, the sheer scale of such attacks raises questions about how long Ukraine can continue to fend off these swarms without exhausting its resources. For Russia, the attack is a show of force meant to demonstrate resilience in the face of international sanctions and setbacks on the battlefield. For the world, it is a glimpse into the future of warfare, where relatively inexpensive unmanned systems can alter the balance of power and redefine the meaning of air superiority. As dawn broke over Ukraine following this attack, the damage assessments began. Some power facilities were struck, leaving parts of cities in darkness. Civilians once again found themselves repairing shattered windows, cleaning debris, and facing the psychological toll of yet another night of bombardment. The humanitarian impact cannot be ignored. Each drone that slips through air defenses can change the lives of ordinary people, destroying homes or disrupting vital infrastructure. In this sense, the attack is not just about military strategy but about the daily suffering inflicted on civilians who are caught in the middle of a conflict they did not choose.